Thank you guys for clicking on the video today. In this video, I'm going to be working on installing the new Blouch 1.5xtr turbo, as well as the Tomei unequal length header. So let's get right into it. So I already got a bunch of stuff taken apart because I'm working on the fuel system right now too, and we're going to be taking the turbo out as well. So first thing I'm going to do, all this stuff's taken off the top. Okay, so first things first for getting the header off is removing that bolt, and that one on each side, and then these two right here and right here, and then we'll probably unplug the O2 sensor from up top so that I can slide this down. Alright, so here's the old header out. It still looks like it's in good shape. I mean, it's got 180,000 miles on it. The wrap held up pretty well. I need to pull out the O2 sensor and try to get the EGT probe out, but I might need to buy a new one, sadly. Next step in the process, I'm going to get the up pipe out, but in order to do that, I need to disconnect the down pipe because there's a bolt that's like dead center below the down pipe that you can't access. So when you disconnect the down pipe, it separates it a little bit, and then you could access that bolt. Alright, so as you've seen, I got the old turbo out. A lot of coolant was lost in the process, but that's okay. So here's the old one and the new one, obviously. You can see there's quite a big size difference. The blades are a little bit meaner looking. So you can see the thickness of the hot side compared to the stock one, and then the back side. Look at that. Boop. Turn the light on. So yeah, a lot bigger piece of turbo right there. So yeah, this one should be good for 500. This is the Blouch 1.5xtr 10 centimeter. And for those of you who are wondering, this is the turbo that I rebuilt myself in that one video. I'll put a card up there if you want to check that out. And this has, I think, 10,000 miles, probably a little bit more, maybe 12. And there's no shaft play, and it spins nicely still, so no signs of wear right now. So looks like my rebuild held up and everything looks good. Yeah, so I'm still waiting for the coolant line for the turbo, but I'm pretty sure I can get it installed at the point where it is now. The reason I was waiting was because I needed to plug in the coolant line so it wouldn't leak, so that I can install the up pipe and the header without getting coolant on the wrap. But I just drained the coolant out to where it won't leak out that pipe anymore. We'll get that installed, get the turbo on, and then we'll get the header and everything on just to get underway with all that. This turbo is rated for 480 horsepower, but with the supporting mods I have, I am pretty sure that I can eke 500 wheel out of it. So we're gonna give that a shot, but this is the setup that's going on there, so let's get started with putting this on. Okay, so the turbo's ready to go in. I got it taped up a little bit just to keep some dirt out of it. It's a little windy today, but I'm gonna drop it into place here, making sure to get the oil drain on this little pipe right there as I drop it down, and then it should just sit right here. Then I can put the coolant line on and we can start installing some of the up pipe and header. Turbo is somewhat in, lines are connected at least. Yeah, I got this is a -4 male to female AN that goes into the Torque Solutions oil feed kit that I got. So now that that's kind of in place, I can slide in the up pipe. So I got the gasket on there. I'm gonna feed it up there and try to get some bolts in. All right, so push the up pipe up, got it started on one nut right there. This nut right here. The holes are lining up now. I had to loosen the turbo mount bracket right here, and then loosen the banjo bolt for the oil feed line so that I could rotate it slightly, because it was hitting right here and then causing the turbo to not be able to come this way a little bit more. So I bumped it a little bit and it gave it enough room to go on there. But the problem I'm seeing now is, you see that front flange bolt right there? It's covered by the coolant line. So I'm gonna have to pop that coolant line off, as well as probably this wastegate here. So a few bolts, pop those off, and I should be able to get that bolt in and then reinstall coolant line. Alright, so with that stuff out of the way, now you can see I got a clear shot on that. We can get that tightened down now. So I'm just going to go through and put all these bolts in there. I'll be back once I'm done. Alright, so we got the up pipe in and the turbo bolted up. I reinstalled the wastegate and the coolant line up there. I'll show you that in a second, but it's ready for the header to go on now. Alright, so here's the installed turbo. Got all the bolts tight, torqued to 25 foot-pounds. See, it's nice and secure there. But yeah, this oil line fits very, very tight in there. It's like touching the compressor housing and the wastegate. So that's going to be a tricky one to figure out for some of you guys, but got it done. Coolant line's back installed, wastegate's back installed. Alright, so the Tomei header has these little expansion joints right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this hardware, and that allows this expansion joint to move slightly. But yeah, with these loose, it'll allow the two mounts to move apart a little bit so that it can fit up perfectly. So I'm going to loosen these, and then we're going to get these put on the car. Alright, so turbo's in. You can't really even see it. You can't even tell that I have a big turbo really, unless you look right here. But it's all together. Everything went together pretty nicely actually. The new hose came in good. Give you a shot of the header down here. A nice header on there. So it wouldn't be a turbo video if I didn't give you guys a little bit of a demonstration. So I'm going to show you what the new turbo's like. you can't really see the boost gauge in the video, but you can tell at what RPM the boost kind of kicks on. It seems like the time between, like if I floor it at 3,000 RPMs, I'm at full boost at 4,000 RPMs, and it's probably a little less than a second delay of turbo lag. It's really not that bad, but compared to the stock turbo where the spool was instant, like the second you floored it above 3,000 RPMs, you had 16 pounds of boost. So it's there. But the one thing about this turbo that is so much better than the stock turbo is that I have the red line set to 8,000 RPMs right now, and the boost controller is set so that the boost won't go over 20 PSI. And this turbo can do 25 PSI no problem. Just I don't want to do 25 PSI on a 91 tune. It's not really worth it. So leaving it at 20 PSI for 91, but it'll hit 20 PSI a little bit before 4,000 RPMs, and it'll hold 20 PSI all the way to 8,000 RPMs. So once you get into boost, it's a rocket ship. Like, it's just going, 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 going. It doesn't feel like it slows down at all. It just keeps pulling, which is an insane feeling. It's ridiculous. And I'm really excited to see what kind of power this makes and how it feels once it's tuned on E85. Because it's probably going to be right up at the 500 wheel horsepower mark, which I just don't even know what it's going to be like at this point. And if you're considering buying a Blouch 1.5xtr, I haven't tested many turbos. The only turbos I've tested is the stock turbo and the Blouch turbo. I thought the car at 320 wheel horsepower with the stock turbo was very fun for street driving. It's a great amount of power, good for the canyons, good for, you know, autocross and stuff like that. But if you want more power, you kind of gotta go with something else other than a stock turbo. Because I kind of want to be more competitive at the drag strip and stuff like that. I still lose to a bunch of V8 cars and stuff, and I kind of want to be able to smoke most V8s. That's kind of my goal with this car, and we'll see how that turns out once I get back on the drag strip. But if I just wanted a fun street car, I would stick with the stock turbo because the response makes it that much more fun on the street. The big turbo is kind of scary. If you've seen my canyon driving video, I could put a card up here for you to take a look at it. But if you've seen that video, I was short shifting it because once the boost would kick in on a canyon road, it was just, you were going too fast into the corner. So there's something to be said for having the correct amount of power for what you're doing. So I just wanted the most power I could get, so I'm gonna deal with the effects of that much power. But if you want to be more competitive with modern cars, I think this turbo is probably the best. And like I said, I haven't tested other turbos, but people who have tested the turbos seem to think this one is the best as well, and that's ultimately why I picked it. And you can also get one with the 8cm housing, which is supposed to have a little faster spool, but the 10cm housing is really close, and you get like 10 extra horsepower up top compared to the 8cm housing. And I figured the 10cm housing would work really well with my stage 2 cams, so that's why I went that route too. Stay tuned for the tuning videos. I don't know when they will be coming out. I'm having some issues with the transmission holding the power, so we're probably gonna have to wait till I get the right transmission for the car to turn the power up all the way, or I might feel frisky and I might turn it up all the way. I don't know, I haven't really decided yet. So just stay tuned for some tuning videos, and hopefully we can get the full potential out of this turbo pretty soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. If you know of somebody who might like this video, please share it with them. And if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.